podcast today, I have a very good friend. I would almost push that he's probably the most underrated trainer in Indianapolis. Just his depth of knowledge. Very good friend. We call each other roommates. We work very closely together. He is the owner of Gem Sessions, along with some other non-for-profits. Mm-hmm. I know you do got Game Changers.
Yep.
And I'm going to let him introduce himself for a little bit, but I just don't want you guys to think that we're skimming over the intro because he's going to talk lightly about himself. He played at Warren Central, and then you ended up
in Southern Indiana. And then became a student at Ball State after I found out I was not as good as I thought I was.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. But the one thing I really want y'all to understand about Justin is he runs a very superior weightlifting program for basketball players. And he does everybody, but he focuses on basketball players. And that's what we're really going to dig into is that strength and conditioning component today. But Justin, welcome to the podcast. I want to give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
I appreciate it, man.
Tell us about you, Gem Sessions.
It's been a long time coming.
We've been trying about 4 months to get Justin on this podcast.
It's crazy because I'm just never here, man. I'm never in the building, but
we were talking about it off camera. We both are crazy ADHD.
Yeah.
And so it's just like these squirrel moments of like, hey, we're going to do it tomorrow. 4 days later, like, hey, we never did that podcast.
Yeah.
And so I am excited to have you here.
That's on me. My scheduling can improve, but yeah, like you said, I'm an entrepreneur and a trainer. You know, working with basketball players, just complete basketball development, trying to get them better on the court and in the weight room, and just developing the holistic athlete. You know what I mean? Just a total approach of how you approach the game mentally, physically, and emotionally, and how you deal with some of those things that you get, you know, from sports, failures, adversity, losses, things like that. So that's what I do. I made the joke I'm not here because Paul's my roommate. So I am here every day. And we are, you know, we share an office it could be a little more tidy, but we get the job done, and it's good to be on here, man. I'm excited.
There's minds working.
Yes, sir.
So real quick, let's dig into this. I really want to hit you with, let's start off with how can you tell an athlete has NBA potential? Like when you see a fourth grader, fifth grader, and you're like, that kid's got a chance. What do you see in him?
Number one thing, I want to see who dropped him off.
Ooh, go ahead.
Who dropped him off? Mom and dad. It's the biggest predictor that I can see before I even see him touch a ball. Did mom or dad play a high-level sport? Doesn't even have to be basketball. But the genetics, is there something there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you look at the league now and you're seeing a lot of familiar names and faces. Like, he looks familiar. Why does he look familiar? Oh, that's so-and-so's son. I remember watching him, you know, play for the Bulls or whatever. So the genetics are huge. That's the biggest thing. And I don't want to discourage people because you can make it, right? Anybody can make it. But if you hit that genetic lottery, you're already a few steps ahead of your competition before you even touch a basketball. It's in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of maybe not what you were expecting.
No, it's good.
That's a very, very good predictor of your athletic success is if you look at your parents and, you know, what was their athletic career like.
It's interesting. I have a pet peeve to go off that is when, and I'm not good at holding myself to the stand. I'm going to throw that out there before I say this. But when you see a dad that is just not able to dribble the ball, can't shoot the ball, they can't do the stuff that we're asking to do, and he's screaming at his son from across the court, why can't you do this one simple task? I'm like, First off, this task is not simple. Well, I see Steph Curry do it all the time. Again, this what I'm asking your child to do is not simple. And so I've just kind of noticed that players that have played, like, you know, we're both trainers, and the way we bring up our kids, a lot of people are shocked, like, oh, does your kid play basketball? If he wants to.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe not, I don't know.
If he wants to,
I know both of our kids draw.
Yeah.
Because they're in our office drawing all the time. Yep. And it's like, hey, you know, and whatever you do, you're good at it, but I expect you to be performing and put your best heart into, but a lot of the parents that haven't played are usually the hardest on their kids, and they're like, this should be easy. And we're like, well, that guy can do it. I'm like, first off, I've been doing this for a decade.
I think it's because, one, they have never done it, so they don't know what all goes into it. And also, having not done it, there may be like some unfulfilled dreams or crushed ego moments and things like that they're trying to compensate on behalf of their kids to kind of live through that or live through them. And, for me, that's just not my style of parenting. Like you said, if our kids want to play, I mean, my kids are in every sport imaginable, right? Basketball, football, soccer, karate. We've wrestled. We just bought lacrosse sets. Like, we're trying whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to be an athlete, you're going to be an athlete. Baseball, obviously, is what we're kind of more trending towards. Yeah. But, like, whatever they want to do, I'm going to give them the resources to do that. And if they love it, I'm going to keep pouring into that. If they don't, I'm not going to force it, man. It's their life. It's not mine.
There's a fine line of holding your child accountable, though.
For sure, yeah.
Like, hey, we committed to this. We're going to
There is a very strict no quit rule in the house.
Yeah.
You can hate a sport for that season. You hate it. You're not going to quit. You've signed up. You're going to finish it. But now we know that's not your thing. So now we can move on to the next thing. Let's try soccer next. Or, we started like American Ninja Warrior stuff, right? Like obstacle courses, parkour. Like Mason's into that.
Yeah.
He's not really into basketball. But I'm like, cool, man. If you want to do that, be the best at it. Have fun doing it. And I'll keep supporting you.
So let's talk about our kids. I'm saying my kid because we have the exact same age.
Yep.
So if I brought you to my kids to you and your kids are together, we're in the same class, and I say, hey, put them in the weight room, put them on the court, what would be your first thing to do?
So if we're talking like Julian and Anderson, right, is your oldest, then it's probably just body weight stuff and learning how to do movement patterns, like how to squat correctly, how to hinge at the hips correctly, how to row, doing push-ups, things like that, because they're 9 going on 10. In a couple of years, they can start to do like some actual resistance training. But for now, like just body weight stuff, learning how to climb, learning how to roll, learning how to tumble, learning how to skip and sprint and things like that. Like really playful things. Like I would do that with them maybe once a week just to get it going and then start to ramp it up over the next years. And then same thing in basketball. You just want to kind of start the basics. Like, establish what a pivot foot is, learn how to dribble with both hands while not looking down, terminology of basketball, spots on the court, like different things like that where you're just kind of introducing the ground level. Because I think, there are some serious basketball players at 9, but it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, what are you getting out of these games that mean something when they shouldn't? It should be more development.
You said 2 things in there that I want to touch on. All right. The first one, and I'm kind of blindsided with you with this. If I had to work Justin into one word, I would say playful. Because I noticed that you're training.
Yeah.
You're professional.
Yep.
But you're playful.
I'm glad you noticed that. That's awesome because that's what I love. Like I love, especially like with the pro athletes and higher level athletes, it's like I have this theory that a lot of them skip steps in their development, and it's not their fault. It was an adult's fault that took a kid. Hey, that kid has potential. Like, let's use that kid to win games at any cost. At an earlier age, the better. And doing that, you take a young athlete and you put them in important games. I'm saying important, meaning the game matters. It's a win or a loss or a trophy or not. But in the grand scheme of things, that game does not matter. So now you've taken them out of developmental and playful environments for 12 weeks during the summer to play these games that don't really matter when they could have been playing tag, rolling around, making up games with their friends in the neighborhood, learning the movements that we just said in the weight room. And so that athlete makes it to the pros, right, because they're really good at basketball, but they suck at moving. And now they suck at moving, so now they're in pain all the time. So now you have to go back and fill those gaps. I got pro athletes that don't know how to skip, but they can do anything you want with a basketball.
Yeah.
Because they're so specialized, but not knowing how to skip is a problem because that requires coordination and cognitive function that you should have as a human. You know what I'm saying? So it's like little things like that. We roll around, we walk on tight ropes, we skip, we make up games on the fly, and that to me is like what you should be doing when you're 11. But they were going to nationals, and it's like I feel like that is an important gap to fill.
That's crazy. That's so true. It's so true, and it's making me reflect on my childhood because
Man, me too.
I'm 42.
Yeah.
AAU didn't exist. I remember we had one kid on our team that played an AAU team, and it was over the summer for like 3 weeks, and that was it. Like, and we had time to be a kid. My parents really didn't know much about sports, but wow, that's some good stuff right there.
See, I caught both ends of it. Like AAU was getting serious when I was coming through high school. So all up until high school, I was like what I described. Like, bro, we would leave the house at like 7 a.m. We'd go fishing. Then we'd go to some kid's house to have a home run derby. Then we'd go to my house to have a dunk contest on like a 7-foot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then we'd have a break for lunch, which was like Kool-Aid and like cheese cubes. And then we'd go back out and we'd have flag football or two-hand touch football on the street. Then we would do this every day.
Yeah.
Like nonstop. And so we just got that well-rounded like approach to athleticism. And then AAU started going, and then I was like the early part of AAU where you're playing like 10 games in a weekend, which is like insane, dude. Yes. And so I got to see both ends of it. But I mean, obviously, your parents they don't know. Like, it's all new to everything. So like we were just trying to survive. Like, you know, that's essentially what it became. But in hindsight, I should have kept doing the more playful stuff.
So, talking about the AAU, and you had the 10 games, and I know for me, coaching, and I remember playing, like, for me, it's a high alert. Like, my brain is going a million miles per hour, and it's almost, I don't want to say triggering fight or flight, but you're in a heightened sense of awareness that you shouldn't be living in for extended periods of time.
Yes.
And so, like, how was it for the 10 games for that weekend?
Dude, all I remember is pain. Just pain. Like, I mean, 10 may have been an exaggeration, but I know for a fact I've played 7 games in a weekend multiple times.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just like survival. You look at your schedule, you try to figure out when you can eat. Back then, like, me and my dad would always go to Subway because they had the footlongs, right?
$5.
So you could do a $5 footlong, and you could eat half of it before your first game or before the next game and then save it for later. But then we would also get the bags. Remember the bags they would come in? Yeah. And we would fill the bags at the fountain machine for drinks with ice. And so now we'd ask for like 10 extra bags and fill them with ice. So now we got ice bags. We pack a cooler. So now it's like after the game, you can ice your knees with the Subway bag. And then like
just talking about creative.
Yeah, dude. Like those days were definitely rough. And especially like 8 a.m. games, empty gym. I'm like, bro, what? Then you get off the court and you see all the coaches come in for the next game. You're like, damn, I guess I'm not going there. So, yeah, it was the AAU is better in some ways now than it was back then. I think the volume is a little bit better and the circuits help because it's like a season almost. But there's definitely some bad stuff out there for sure.
So let's fast forward a little bit with our kids. Let's say our kids fall in love with basketball. They come to us and say, hey, Pops, this is something I really want to pursue. Like, let's talk through, right now they're in first grade, second grade. Let's say, what are we doing when do we start taking it seriously? Like, walk through the grades and say, this is what I should be doing, how serious it should be, what my schedule looks like.
Man, that's a tough question. Like, I think there's some individuality to it all. Like, I know there's young kids around here that take it serious, but they're not being forced to. They truly love basketball, and they want to be here.
We have a ton of them here. That's the beautiful part about us is we walk in here, and those kids want
and they want to be here. And I think it's more about, like, when you have to stop asking them if they want to do it. They'll ask you.
Yeah.
Like, basketball and baseball are probably Julian's favorites, and he'll ask me. Like, even the other day, Sunday, I was coming in here. I had to bring him with me, and we had a game on Tuesday, a baseball game. So I wanted him to bring his hitting stuff so we could go in one of the shooting bays and hit. He's like, no, I want to do basketball. I was like, okay. I wasn't expecting that. So I think you just kind of read your kid and figure out, like, you know, where are they mentally. And I think the biggest thing is that I would try to avoid specializing at all costs until as late as possible.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, you quit all other sports and you put all your eggs in one basket. I would not do that until the very last second, even if you suck at another sport. Like, even if you're just on the track team and you're not very good at any of the events, the exposure to those movements and being on a different team in a different environment, different kind of sport, more of an individual vibe, but still some team. Like, I think there's value in that. So I would specialize as late as possible. Like, probably for most players, we're looking like sophomore year, junior year, when you're like, okay, basketball is going to get me paid.
Yeah.
You know, but you got some guys, like, they're making that decision when they graduate because they're so good at both, because they didn't specialize early, and it made them a better athlete. So, I mean, just step by step, grade by grade, I think as they start to mature, both mentally and physically, you just make that call, you know, as you see it. But there's also putting too much on your kids, and not so if you don't want to specialize, there'd be like an overgeneralization too. So it's like you got to kind of find the 2 to 4 sports that make the most sense, like calendar wise, because you love to be a multi-sport athlete, but you don't want to be a multi-sport athlete all the time. Like winter sport, basketball and wrestling, right? You probably couldn't do both of those at the same time.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Or in summer, you can't do all of the sports that you play year-round at the same time, because everybody has a summer session. Like there's summer basketball, summer football, 7-on-7, summer baseball. Like, but you can't do everything at once. So you have to find the fine line of like, what are we most interested in? What are we most passionate about? And what makes sense for our schedule?
I remember when I was sophomore, junior year in high school, I remember being in the weight room at 7 in the morning and then going to bed at 10 at night.
Yeah.
And I remember August rolling around, like, I am so ready just to sit down at a desk. Like,
Hell
and the
yeah.
first day of school, everyone's like, man, I miss summer. I'm like, oh my God, this desk is amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh man, I haven't sat down all summer. And it's just one of those, like, the burnout is real.
Yeah. I say like one sport per season. Just one sport per season, and use your weight room development as like kind of the second sport.
That makes sense. What are your thoughts about? So you were a high school coach. Mm-hmm. I was a high school coach, and obviously the high school player. When you, for me, I guess when I was at the high school level, like the season's intense.
Yeah.
Like there's times as a coach, the season was over, and I'm like, I don't want to look at a basketball for a week or two. And then you turn around, you see the players jumping into a club team it's like you're jumping from one incredibly intense situation to another. What's that do to your body?
Yeah, it definitely puts a lot of miles on your body. Like there's no true off season anymore, which kind of sucks, because I think you need time to work on things specifically based on what your previous season taught you about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you finish a season, you shot 27% from 3, you know what you need to work on next off season. But if your off season is that week between when you get eliminated from sectionals to the first tournament, like, what are we doing? So you have to, I mean, you obviously still have to work through it, but there's still a lot of total load going into that system and that body. And if it's not being managed properly, whether it be through rest, lifting, or just, you know, generally like knowing how much you're doing and when you're doing it on the court, like, it's a recipe for disaster.
Really is.
Yeah.
Now, and here's the thing. I hear a lot of people hear me talk, especially on social media, and they think I'm anti-AAU and I'm anti-club, and I'm not.
Yeah.
But what I'm really saying, if you really dig into it, is you need to balance. You need to balance the playing, and you need to balance the training. You need to balance the school. There's a lot of things you need to balance. What are some of the? We always talk about red flags. What are some of the green flags for my haters out there that think I just hate on things all the time? Not saying names. But what are some of the green flags of programs that do it the right way? They says this is something you should flock to.
So I think anytime you're on a circuit, that's a good start, because like a EYBL or 3SSB or the Puma, like, because there's a structure there. There's a set, like, you're playing in these cities on these dates against these teams, and there's continuity. So it's kind of like that little mini season. So that's a green flag, and you know the level of play is going to be high. So I think that eliminates a red flag, because when you have like structured leagues like that, it eliminates the crappy games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when you get hurt, and that's when you're wasting time. When you go play, when you're in one of these open tournaments and you're a really good team, you have to go play like a crappy team that you have no business playing. That is a wasted. That's just miles on your body for no reason. You're not getting anything from it. So I think the circuits help by consolidating the talent level and making it pretty equal. Now there's still blowouts and everything like that, but I think coaching goes more into it, development goes more into it, and things like that. So I think that's a really big thing. I think programs that encourage their players to like continue their development, whether it be on the court or in the weight room, are great. And obviously we have relationships with people that do that because they believe in it and they know that what they're doing is game based, and that's not the only thing and not the only way. So in order to continue to get better, so you play better in these games, like you still have to work on your game.
Yeah.
So they're telling kids, whether it be with us or whoever, another trainer, like I don't care who's it with, like you need to be working on your game. So
and something specific though too.
Yeah, and something
like,
exactly.
Hey, you can't go left from the wing. You need to work on the spin move.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that come in here like, hey, what do you need to work on? My attitude. What am I supposed to do about that?
Yeah, I don't even know you, bro. Like we just met. Like I can't start preaching to you just yet. You gotta give me a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to your point though, there's also within your offense, right? Like, who are you to your team? What's your role? Like, are you a stand in the corner, catch and shoot type of guy? Because why are you working on 17 dribble moves like in isolation that you're never going to do in a game? You know what I'm saying? So you have to know who you are to your team, what your coach expects from you, and like also what is going to get you to the next level you want to be. Like, there's definitely like a know your role type training where you can still work on stuff. You got to have a little wiggle in your game and expand it, but be who you are. Be the superstar in your role, so that you can be the superstar.
Well, it's funny because last summer I was working with this girl. She was a shorter girl, point guard, really quick, and I put her in the post a couple times. And she looked at me like, I'm never going to post, coach. I'm never going to do it. And I watched her play 3-on-3. She would drive, she would kick, but she had a shorter guard on her. I'm like, hey, posting opportunity.
Yep.
And she had 7 post opportunities. And you don't need to be elite at it, but just be able to catch, shot fake, get to the rim. You don't need to be proficient at everything. So, okay, you're an elite corner shooter. Well, what happens if you get stuck on the wing? You got to have something.
Exactly. Plus, like, I'm big on post work for guards too, because you're not going to just walk to the lane. You're not going to, like, there's going to be contact, so you got to be able to turn a drive into a post and work from there, even if it's just passing out without turning the ball over. But it's like, pretty much, like, you get into the paint, you're going to get contact, and if you're playing off 2 feet, it might be a back to the basket move, which I'm a huge fan of.
I mean, they're high quality shots.
Yeah, great.
You talked about the physical and the physical, and you mentioned the mental. What are you doing with your athletes for that?
So
what does that look like?
A big thing is, like, I'm big on relationships. Like, a lot of people that I've worked with, I've been working with for a while, so we know each other personally. Like, I know what's going on in their life and vice versa. So I think that relationship sets the foundation for us to be able to talk about, like, how you're feeling. And I think that's tough for people because, like, you have to build trust and rapport with that person. And mentally, I believe that is a very, very underrated part of the game, is, like, how are you dealing with things mentally? If you think about basketball, like, it's like you're going to lose 50% of the time, like, give or take.
Yeah.
Right? Every game has a winner and a loser.
Yep.
So on any given day, you could be the loser. And, like, some teams you lose more than others. Like, some teams you're good, you're winning a lot, but when you win a lot, then the losses hurt more. And so, but there's this balance of, like, how do you deal with losses? How do you deal with adversity? How do you compartmentalize and learn from things? Like, you lost, right? That sucks. But what did you take from that loss so that you don't do it again the next game. Or maybe you won, but you played bad. It's okay to still be upset with your personal performance.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're happy. You don't want to be sulking in the locker room. You're happy the team won. That's great. But when you get home, you got to realize they won in spite of me. Like, what can I do to help my team be better? It's not like, oh, I didn't drop 20, so I'm pouting even though we won. There's a difference. It's like, I want to be there for my teammates. I want to help the team be better. How can I fulfill my role better? So just talking to them about that, like a lot of it has to do with film study and just like looking at what they're doing on film and trying to analyze like what can you do, what can you do better? Not so much like in the flow of the offense, but like just like movement wise, like decision making movements. Like you drove here, you saw help coming. Like we can kind of see these things on film, and you froze up instead of what we work on is moves in that situation. And so just little things like that to be like, why, do you remember what you were thinking in that moment? Or do you remember how that felt? Like just things like that to be able to kind of bridge the gap between physical and mental and ultimately help them feel better about their performance throughout the year.
How long does it take rapport? And the reason why I ask this question is that relationship. You and I have seen this. Mm-hmm. Kid gets dropped off once, does one workout, says, "Oh, I didn't see anything." And you're like, "Dude, that's like eating healthy for a day," and be like, "Man, I don't have a six pack."
Yeah.
It's like it takes a couple months. Like, what about that relationship? How long do they take? And I know everyone's different, but like, some people you click. I know you and I work together, and I would say from day one, you and I have never had a bad day together.
Yeah, for sure.
And we just clicked. We had that good relationship, but that doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm. Man, I mean, it could take months. Some people is like, boom, like it's all them already almost. But I would say like 3 months. You spend an off season with somebody, you should be able to. Here's the thing, it can't stop there. Like if it's a college kid, right? They come home, you get 2 months. You get May and most of June with them, probably. But you don't talk to them until like next March. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep the conversation going. You have to check up on them. You have to continue to watch their games or film as much as you can so because, athletes are not dumb. Like, they know, like, basically, if you do that, you're kind of telling them, like, I only care about you when it's time for you to turn that membership on. Like, that's not the case. I care about you as a person. Not only that, but also I want you to do well for yourself, but also as an entrepreneur, you have to think about what their success can do for you as well. And that's not selfish to say, right? Like what we do feeds our families. So I'm not shy to talk about money or anything like that because the better I do, the better my family does. The better my family does, the better mood I'm in. The better mood I'm in, the better trainer I am. So now we got a cycle. So it's just continue the conversation and, letting them know, like as a person, I care about you more than your ability to put the ball in a basket.
I got 2 more questions for you. Let's fast forward. Julian and Anderson are in high school. What are the red flags that they're burning out? Like, what do you do about those red flags? Like, they still want to go. They're still hungry. Mm-hmm. Hey, I still want to play, but like, I'm seeing this, this, and this is what we're going to do about it.
I think like negative self-talk or just like self-consciousness would be a big one because when you start to burn out, you start to like put a microscope on all your mistakes and then you beat yourself up over them and then you start to believe that like you are those negative things, right? You start to think you are what you do. So I had a bad game, so I'm a bad person. Or, I had one bad game, so I suck. So that's the biggest thing. And then obviously you got to have a conversation with your kids or you got to have that relationship where they can talk to you about that and you can be like, this is not the reality. What you do does not define who you are as a person. So I think that would be a big one. Another red flag would probably be like, just like losing focus off the court too. Like because you're not at practice, say they're in high school, you're never going to those practices. You're going to the games and, you can only know what they're doing based on how they're performing in the game. But I think like off the court activities too. Like, are they starting to want to, go out with their friends, like party? I'm not saying not to go out with your friends, but like, are you catching them out late? You know,
Making
are
bad
you,
decisions.
Yeah, you making bad decisions. You partying. Did you get caught drinking? You get caught doing something else. Like things like that. They happen in high school. I did it in high school. So it's like, so you might cut that, but it's like those things show that you are not focused on what not just sports, but school.
Yeah.
Like, are your grades starting to fall off? Are you starting to make bad decisions? You get in trouble. You have an attitude at home. You never had an attitude. Like, those things can stem from the negative, like, experiences of sport. So, and that might not always be burnout based on, like, their feelings, but it could also be, like, they're just getting rocked in practice. Like, or their coach is, like, overly doing it. Like, things like that.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And my last question for you. You wake up tomorrow. You're the commissioner of American basketball. You could pass any, and this is the rule for all of it. You could pass any rule you want. You could put in a 4-point line, a 7-second shot clock. Swishes are worth 4. I've had people say everybody has to have their own mechanical coach of teaching them how to skip. What is the one rule that Justin Ochoa is putting out there, and why?
Oh my God. This is tough, dude. This is off the top of the dome, too. Oh my gosh.
It could be as far
All
as
of American basketball.
has to follow this, like, whatever it is.
Shoot. I would say, dude, you're stumping me. You're stumping me. I would say this is tough because I have so many for like the pro and college rules. Like I have so many that I would implement. But I'm trying to think about kids.
Let's say your pro and college one. Let's say the pro one, college one.
You're going to hate this.
Let's do it.
There should be one universal travel rule from youth to pro.
Oh, I'm not mad about that.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
You can have the gather step. You can take it away. I don't care. But there should be one universal travel rule from youth to pro.
That's a great one.
Because if you think about the NBA, right, they get the gather step, right? They get that 0-step, gather step, that 3rd step, whatever you want to call it. And you can manipulate that by your gather of the ball and how you gather late and let the ball float, things like that. But there's some great moves out there. But kids watching that, go work on that. But they can't do it. They can't legally do it in the game. But now here's the tricky part. You make it look good enough, the ref might let you slide. I see travels all the time in high school and middle school. Good moves that require the gather step, but it doesn't look funky, so it doesn't like trigger the referee, but it's illegal. But you can't have that wishy-washy refereeing. You can't have it be legal sometimes with some ref and illegal sometimes with another ref. It has to be one travel rule from youth to pro. And at this point, I think it would be that gather step rule, which is totally fine with me. But it's like I see a lot of trainers would teach like middle school or high school kids like moves that require a gather step, which to me is not efficient use of your time and training because you cannot use that move legally.
That makes perfect sense.
You can't use it until you get to the NBA. And it's like, are you going to go to the NBA? Probably not. So I think there should be one universal travel rule. That's where I would go. I'll go with that.
I love that. That's probably the best one I've heard.
Hey, let's go.
Let's go. Justin, hey, man, I really appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Probably won't be the last time. We're probably going to keep doing this.
Run it back for part 2. Let's go. All
right. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.